are live here today at the Super Pet Expo on February 6, 2015. I am with Lorraine Zeb of Love Your Pet LLC, and this is your booth, correct, Lorraine?
Yes, it is. We've been doing Super Pet Expo since the very beginning, and it's one of our best shows.
Lorraine, I'm sitting here with one of your longtime clients, and your name is?
Brenda Petty.
Brenda, and who do you have here with you?
This is Bentley James Ryan.
Bentley, now how do you know Lorraine and how did you get started together? And tell me a little bit about the both of you.
I had been looking for a pet sitter when I first got Bentley a couple of years ago, and I found Lorraine online, and we contacted her, and she's been working for me ever since.
So what has your experience with Bentley been since you started working with him?
I love him. He's one of my dailies, and we get so attached to our dailies. And one time I went in and I noticed that he was sneezing and coughing a little bit, and I alerted Brenda, because with the smaller dogs, as soon as they get a kennel cough or an upper respiratory, it's really important for them to get it right away. So, right,
Bentley, do you have a moment to say something?
You want to say something, Ben?
He's sniffing the mic. So, the kennel cough, tell me a little bit more about that, because that's not something every owner even can recognize, correct?
That's correct. And with Bentley, like I said, I called Brenda right away, and sure enough, he was at a kennel right before then, and she took him to the vet, and he was then diagnosed with kennel cough. And then what happened after that?
Yeah, so he had to be quarantined for quite a while. He couldn't play with any other dogs, which he was used to doing. And actually, he was supposed to go to my other pet sitters for a weekend during August, and he couldn't go because of his kennel cough, because he would have gotten her dog sick. So one of Lorraine's associates, Alyssa, came and spent the night with Bentley because we were going to be out of town.
So you offer overnight services as well?
We do, just for important events, so we're all encompassing. You know?
So I think this is a very special event this time, because I hear that you are celebrating 25 years in your pet sitting business, correct?
25 years in the industry and still going strong. It's more than a passion than anything else, and that's what I do. It's the love of the animal has to come first.
And how many years have you actually been coming to the Super Pet Expo?
I think we're 20 years, you know, like I said, when Eric Udler first started the Super Pet Expo here, but we have quite the clientele going on, and you just enjoy seeing the animals being dressed up. You see horses, you see little lizards with tuxedos on. You know, I had to look twice on that one, but yeah, you come here, it's an experience.
It's great here at the Super Pet Expo. I want you to come out to booth. What booth are you at?
Booth 338.
She's here every year, and if you miss it this year, there's always next year. Come on out. Hi, we're live at the Super Pet Expo in Edison, New Jersey. I'm with Lorraine Zeb of Love Your Pet LLC, and this is your booth right here. And I'm also with one of your clients here. Your name is?
Sandy Osborne.
Sandy, and I see you have a beautiful cat here. This is your kitty named Hobo?
Hobo.
Okay, so Lorraine, I know that you've been involved with rescue for over 25 years. Can you tell me a little about, this was one of your clients, but this is a rescue story here. So you can tell me a little bit about what happened to Hobo?
Well, over the years, you know, in doing the pet sitting, there's some animals that really come out and stand and grab your heart, and he was actually one of them. I was walking a dog, one of my dailies, and lo and behold, in a forest type of a setting, and Hobo, who was a feral cat, would always come and follow us. And I said, wow, this is really weird. This cat's not really afraid or anything, but he was craving attention. He was feral and staying away, but he was still craving attention.
So was he in your yard?
I mean, he was in a complete forest situation. I was walking a dog in a little forest in back of the people's homes, and there was Hobo. He would pop out every single time that we were there. So I said, wow, I said, this guy really needs to be home. And I would check to see if he was there. And last year or the year before, we had storms coming, really bad storms coming. And it took me about, no kidding, a year and a half to get him to literally come up to me in a feral type of situation in a forest. I noticed there was a torn ear and everything else. I said, man, this guy is so loving and we really need to get him a good home.
So anyone else would have just considered him a feral and left him out there,
Right,
but you actually connected with him in some way, and somehow he gave you messaging.
Actually, he looks like one of the cats that I used to own by the name of Sonny, who passed away. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is him in spirit, you know? So after being in business for as long as I have, I don't pass anything at all. So he did touch my heart. So right before the storm started coming in December, I walked back and I said, I've got to get him in. I've got to get him in. So I walked back, I walked my dog, and he was still there, took the carrier, came back to the situation, and I was so afraid that I wouldn't be able to find him again. And I kid you not, he came literally running up him. His nickname was Kitty Ho. So I would be yelling, Kitty Ho, Kitty Ho, and he just came running up crying like, nah, like a little goat would be. And I just picked him up by the scruff of the neck, and I brought him home right before the really bad winter came in. I think we literally saved his life, because I don't think he would have lasted the winter. And I kept him for a couple of months, hooked up with Coalition with Animals with Rose, and we were positioning him to be adopted.
Coalition is located where?
In Hillsborough, New Jersey.
And you're located where?
Manville, New Jersey.
And where do you live?
Raritan, New Jersey.
Okay, so you're all relatively close.
So we're here. We brought poor Hobo to be adopted because he was very sweet at the time. Worked with him for a couple of months.
How did you two connect up to get Hobo to you?
I was in Petco on January 19th. It was 3 days after we had to put our dog down, and I was in there getting, funny enough, little litter bags for our other cat that we have at home. And
What's your other cat's name?
Simba, and he's also an orange tabby. So he needed a buddy. He lost his buddy of a couple of years. Simba's only 3 years old. Hobo, lucky we had for 16 years. So we had to find Simba a buddy. So I went into Petco and I walked by his cage. I stopped dead in my tracks, backed up and said, oh my God, I have to have him. My husband and my daughter were out shopping, so I called him and said, how soon can you be at Petco? And he said, why? And I said, because I found a cat and I don't want to leave. I never left the cat's side. I never even got the bags the day I went in there.
This is how it happens, right?
This is how it happens. You know, it's you know, you just get so drawn, and it's a soul connection. We can't explain it, but it was soul connection. And what I love is I get little messages and pictures of Hobo almost every week, and to me that's so endearing. And
oh,
him. So,
do you visit now, Hobo?
I used to visit.
Yeah. She did. She came to visit in the beginning, helped me try to hold him because I was literally afraid to pick him up at first. But
was he shy at first, or did he warm up immediately?
He warmed up, not immediately, but in time. It was within a few days. He would hide under my daughter's bed, so I would pull out the drawer and he would come out and sit with us, and we just kept calling him Kitty Ho. We would sing hi ho to him all the time. He had his own room, so little by little, my other cat, within about 3 months, he finally was getting acclimated, and now they're buds. He runs the house. He is just such a love bug. Love bug.
So he is a most beautiful cat. It's hard to see that this cat would have been out on the street at any time.
Oh, I cried.
Because they're so beautiful.
I would just cry because I would watch the snow coming down or the horrific rains, and I would think, how could anybody just leave you outside?
Or in February weather like we have with these incredible drops in the cold is incredible. So now they're best buds?
They are. They're best buds. They play hard, but they love each other too. They'll lick each other just uncontrollably, and then they'll fight and play and run around and tackle each other, and it's like a football game sometimes. But they just pass out.
More like dogs.
Yeah, and then they just lay butt to butt, and out they go, and they're just best buds.
Well, thank you so very much for doing what you do, just taking them off the street and having your heart be open to a buddy. I think it's really important for all pet owners to understand that the pets need buddies too, of their own kind. And Lorraine, is there anything you want to share about some of the rescue work that you've been doing?
No, but it just has to come from the heart first.
So if anybody wants to find out about more rescue, they can go where? They can contact you or Rose at loveyourpet.net, which is Lorraine's website, or what's the Coalition website? I believe it's coalitionforanimals.org. So thank you both very much, and we'll see you next year. I'm sure you'll be together for many years.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm with Lorraine Zeb of Love Your Pet. Can you tell me a little bit about your booth and about your client here?
Okay, this is Super Pet Expo that we're at, and our booth features a whole bunch of holistic products. We're 25 years in the industry, and we're celebrating it by starting our online store.
So who do we have here? This is Judy with...
Hi, this is BB.
Hi, BB.
Little television ham.
So your last name is Judy Paris.
Paris, like the city in France, but with 2 R's. And when I got her, I kept calling her baby, so I just switched it to BB, because BB in French is bébé, and that means baby.
So we have a French doggy here today.
Here, yes.
How old is BB?
BB is 7 months old. She's a German Shepherd Beagle mix.
Oh my goodness, you're kidding. She's very small. So
Yes,
is she going to stay small?
I'm not sure. The way I got her is actually thanks to Lorraine.
So Lorraine, tell me about how you connected her with BB.
Well, I kept, calling and saying, you need to get another pet. We need to get another pet. She had another dog by the name of Honey before, and again, it was one of our afternoons, and we get so attached to our afternoons. And Honey came down with cancer.
Afternoon is when you go take it.
It's a daily, yes, and we see them every day. So how can you not get attached? And Honey came down with cancer, and she had to have one leg amputated, and she was such a trooper. There's some pets that, even though we love everybody, but some really touch your heart, and Honey was actually one of them. And so I always kept telling her, she's going to come back to you, she's going to come back. And she worked with rescue. Judy worked with some rescue.
Here at Somerset Regional Animal Shelter, and after being there for 3 weeks, they got a truckload of dogs up from Virginia. And BB and her brother came up. They were known as Hank and Honey.
This was Hank and Honey?
This was Honey. Her brother was Hank, and when I met her, I burst into tears, and when I found out her name was Honey, and she got up, pushed her brother out of the way, patted my hand, and licked my fingers.
Oh my goodness, a reincarnate.
I still had no intention of adopting her. 2 days later, the shelter called and said, "Which one are you taking?"
Oh, so it was that fast.
It was that fast. She came in on a Saturday, and I had her home by Thursday night.
So there's a little story with Baby. You want to tell me what took place with one of your babysitters?
Started out with you, well, as we do our daily dog walking. And with Honey, I believe it was, that we had It was Honey?
It was Honey. I was working in New York, so thank goodness for Love Your Pet. Without them, I could not have a dog.
So what happened, Lorraine?
One of our pet sitters was walking Honey, and another pit bull actually just got loose in the neighborhood, not on a leash, which I really hate to hear, and attacked Honey while one of our other pet sitters was walking. And we'd hate to get in that type of a situation. So luckily, Linda, Honey let Honey take care of it. She dropped the lead and didn't pull it. And actually, Honey won, thank God, and she did that, and we took her out of there right away.
He had her in a death grip around her neck, and then she got out of that, and then he went back at her and grabbed her muzzle.
Oh my goodness, and she survived that. So here she is today, a lovely survivor.
That was the other dog.
Oh,
our Honey girl, who ended up being an 20-month cancer survivor.
Oh my goodness. So this supersedes her?
This is, yes.
We think it's Honey Incognito. That's what we think. We think BB is Honey Incognito.
Well, there you go. Another lovely dog story. And again, we're here at the Super Pet Expo with Lorraine Zeb
and Judy
and BB.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Does anybody want to do any interviews with Dana? Okay, we're here with Storm and a few of Storm's buddies here today at the Super Pet Expo. I don't know where you all came from, but you are all beautiful. I am with a beautiful group of dogs here at the Super Pet Expo, and I'm with Carl. Carl, can you tell me who is with you?
Yes, Storm is with me, and he is the 10th generation of the original Lassie.
Oh my goodness, and who are these three?
This is Sunday, this is his daughter Serafina, and this is her son Quint.
And you are?
My name is Sylvette Hartroth.
Sylvette, and you have any more at home, or is this it?
No, this is it.
This is a beautiful mix of dogs, and it's very special to have the descendant of Lassie here today. And what are you doing? What does Lassie do? I see that he's got a service tag on him. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Storm is the National Red Cross mascot, comfort dog. He generated that from his father, Rusty. And Rusty was my 9/11 dog. And that dog, his father, was the Lassie number 8 that did the 1994 Lassie movie. And since then, since 9/11, Rusty has been going to all the sites from 9/11, New York, and
Really?
Washington, D.C. And they nominated him to be the Red Cross dog, since he is a therapy dog. And Storm, his father, his dad, did all that wonderful, wonderful consoling of the people that lost their loved ones at 9/11. And
So where do you go now with Storm?
well, he still goes. He goes to every memorial service every year, but he also does nursing homes. He goes into the hospital. He goes to schools. We did educational programs. He is a certified dog for CSA, which is Common Sense for Animals in Broadway, New Jersey. And I'm the director of the therapy dog program.
Oh, Carl, well, thank you so very much for allowing me to interview you. And the dogs, these dogs are beautiful. They're here all day, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we're walking around and visiting everybody here and checking things out.
Meeting a lot of new friends here. There are hundreds of dogs here today.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing how many dogs are here today.
Well, there you have it. We're here at the Super Pet Expo. Thank you very much, Carl. And we're also with the Love Your Pet, right in front of the Love Your Pet booth. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Dana. I'm with Nonprofit TV, and I'm at the Super Pet Expo with Lorraine Zeb of Love Your Pet, correct? LLC, and I'm also with Carl and Carl?
Meyer.
Carl Meyer, you have Lassie's descendant with you named Storm?
I have Lassie's descendant with me named Storm, the 10th generation.
So this is a very funny story because I know Lorraine very well, and Lorraine was connected with Rin Tin Tin, and now she's with Lassie. And Lorraine, can you give me a little bit of give the audience a little bit of a head start on what has happened here?
Okay, well, starting as a pet sitter 26 years ago, I was looking for a mascot for one of our conventions, and my father was in the entertainment industry, so he had what we call then a blue book. We didn't have the internet or anything, so for entertainment we looked in the blue book, and in the blue book it said Rin Tin Tin, and I said, oh my God, can he still be alive? So I looked in there and I called the number, and there was Daphne Hereford with Rin Tin Tin. I said, wow. I asked her if Rin Tin Tin would be honoring us and being a mascot at our convention, and she said yes. He said yes too. So they were there, and that's how I started out with Daphne. And at that convention, I actually won the Hall of Fame award with our pet sitters. And right then and then, she sopped me up, and I became the PR consultant with Daphne Hereford and the Rin Tin Tin descendant lines. So I've been pushing for her for over the last 18 years. And through a couple of those moments, and last was about a few years ago there, Carl, with Super Pet Expo, we met Carl. And then Rusty, I think it was the 8th generation, eighth.
What generation?
Rusty is the 9th generation. His father was the 8th that did the 1994 Lassie movie.
Oh my goodness. So this is some serious lineage here in this booth.
So at the same time, we had the 8th or 9th generation of Rin Tin Tin, and then we had this, so it was kind of like a historical moment where we had Rin Tin Tin and Lassie descended
together in the same expo.
And that's how I met Carl. And actually last year I met Carl again. I was at the 4-H fair, I had a booth. He just comes walking by and I was like, oh my God. I said, it's him, you know, so he said, and he actually lives very close by where Daphne's in Texas.
So now you're working, and both of you are involved with animal rescue groups. So I want to ask you, because you're both doing 501c3 rescue work. Lorraine, I know you've been doing this with several groups for 25 years, and Carl, you actually have your own group. And what is the name of your group?
The group I'm with is Common Sense for Animals, CSA for short, Adoption Agency for Animals, and we're a no-kill shelter out of Broadway, New Jersey.
Okay, and where? In Warren County? Okay, great. And how long have you been with them?
Oh, I've been with them 10 years now.
Okay, and I also know that Lassie is actually a service dog for the American Red Cross.
Yes, his father was the National Red Cross mascot in the U.S., working with families of the victims from 9/11. Once that happened, he was a year old, and he gave comfort and console to many, many, many people that were crying on his roof. And from then on, they made him, or they elected him to be the Red Cross dog. He wasn't a Red Cross dog when initially the event happened. That became about a week later. They said, let's make him the New Jersey Red Cross dog. And I did. And a year later, we went to Washington at our national headquarters, and they announced that they wanted him to be the representative for the American Red Cross, to be the comfort dog. And that's how it all began. And Storm was born 7 years later, became his father's footsteps. Rusty had passed on now.
So now Storm is carrying on the legacy. And I also know that Rin Tin Tin also was a spokes dog last year, I believe, and traveled to Hollywood.
Oh yes, and Dana, you know this well because you were with me.
Lorraine recruited me.
I recruited her at the 4-H fair, actually, the year before that. We meet a lot of really good people at the 4-H fair, isn't it cool? So a little plug in for them, but yes, Dana and I actually had the magical moment and opportunity to go to Hollywood, California, and work with the 12th line-bred descendants of Rin Tin Tin for the taping and the shooting of the Hallmark show, and it was as a matter of fact, I think it was their first show, the first show of the Hero Dog Awards. So talk about a life being magical and a life being full circle. Here I am as a child watching Rin Tin Tin and Lassie, and lo and behold, I'm working with the line-bred descendants of both. What more can one person ask for?
It's just got to be destiny. What else can I say? Thank you very much, the both of you, for allowing me to interview you. Oh, and who is this?
This was his father. The portrait of Rusty, the way he stands, the picture on the left, I took that of him, and he got up, and Will Harmuth and his wife Lisa did the painting. It took them about 2 months to create this wonderful creation, and it's only a limited edition. And when is it going to be at Ground Zero in New York at the memorial site? And
really?
Yes, and our official photographers that started this out was Aiken and Fowler Studio from Cornwall, New York. And they're our official photographers that went around with Rusty, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, all over the events. And I've met people that they don't know me. They know my dog that came up to them. And we still go to the memorial every year.
Well, this is a wonderful legacy. Lorraine, you've done fantastic work with dogs and cats and birds and everything else. And what is the name of their business, and where can we find you?
It's Love Your Pet, loveyourpet.net. It's Love Your Pet LLC. We've been in business again for 26 years, and it comes from here and not here, and that's the most important thing.
Thank you both very much. Enjoy yourselves for the rest of the day. Today is the last day of the Super Pet Expo. Thank you.
Dana, thank you.
Thank you. I am with Lorraine Zeb, and you are at the Super Pet Expo, and you have a brand new product here that you're marketing. Would you tell me a little bit about what this is?
Well, after being a pet sitter for 26 years and having to feed a lot of our clients horrible stuff that have soy wheat and corn in it, they would break out into hot spots. I said, that's it. We're going to come out with our own line of treats, and this is called Love Bites. We have organic cookies, which are actually human grade. I mean, when you open up a bag of cranberry, oh, it
smells like cranberry.
What, guys? It has cranberry in it, and it tastes good. Actually, we can even eat it, but
this is human grade food, you said?
Human grade food. Just take a little bite. Just to prove. See, it's so healthy, we can actually eat it too, but it's really for your dogs, and they love the fruit. They love the fruit.
So tasty too, just like candy. Alyssa, have you tried a cracker?
I have not, but I'm glad that you guys enjoy it.
Alyssa?
Corn-free. Soy wheat and corn-free, and the dogs love our best products, the cranberry and blueberry.
You can order this where?
Right online, loveyourpet.net. And we have our own shop. We're kicking off our own online store where you can actually get them. And it's shop.loveyourpet.net.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. Here you are. Try one.
Thank you.
I'm with Lorraine Zeb's assistant here. You have been with Lorraine for how long?
4 years.
What is your name and what do you do for her?
My name is Alyssa Geibel, and I have been Lorraine's pet sitter for 4 years now. And it has been such an experience and a blast and quite an adventure, and I love Lorraine to bits and pieces.
Do you just do pet sitting or do you do a little bit of everything for her?
Sometimes I do.
I see you're at the booth here today.
Yes, I do help her with the advertising, with the vendor fairs and the street fairs, and I help her with the Facebook and the emails.
Okay, there you go. That's a lot more than just pet sitting.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you very much. It was great to meet you and interview you, and come on out next year to the Super Pet Expo in Edison, New Jersey.